The Steam Deck by Valve is the latest handheld console to enter into the realm of portable gaming, a world in which I am so excited about, and I know you guys are too. Kick off your shoes and relax your socks while we discuss the Steam Deck. If you love retro gaming, modern gaming, and have a soft spot for handheld gaming as well, then you are in the right place, because here on the Chronik Spartan show, we love everything about the world of gaming, and we have a strong passion for handheld gaming as well. If that sounds like you, then come and chill out with us. Check out some of our older content, check out our merch, and hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Now let's talk about the Steam Deck. There have been rumors and mentions and speculation of Valve looking to enter the world of portable gaming for the past few months now, but a couple of weeks ago those rumors were confirmed true with the announcement of the Steam Deck. This was an amazing surprise to me, because if you've watched any of the previous episodes on the channel, you know I'm passionate about handheld gaming, and I really believe in dedicated portable gaming consoles. I've talked about how we've lost the 3DS, and although the Nintendo Switch is amazing, we don't really have that dedicated portable handheld that Nintendo used to be so well known for, and I've talked about the possibility of a PlayStation Vita 2 and how much we need one of those. Portable and handheld gaming isn't going anywhere, but we have a risk of it turning into mobile gaming or stream devices. And for me, it would be a real shame if we lost these dedicated portable handheld gaming consoles. But with the arrival of the Steam Deck, it reignites that fire in me that portable handheld gaming consoles are more popular now than they ever have been. Now let's jump in straight away with some of the facts about the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is the latest handheld being created by Valve, and it is essentially a portable gaming PC. The release date for the Steam Deck is December the 21st in the EU, UK, US and Canada, with a delayed release in 2022 for the rest of the world. The Steam Deck will be running a modified Steam OS, but will provide the kind of interface we expect through consoles rather than PC, all delivered to you through a 7-inch LCD screen. The Steam Deck also provides the ability to dock much like the Nintendo Switch, for which you'll be able to do through the USB-C port, and also further down the line, Valve have confirmed that they will be releasing an official dock as well. On top of that, you can plug in all your favorite gaming peripherals, including mouse, keyboard, and even a flight stick, meaning that this portable gaming PC can be played comfortably in the palm of your hand, as well as plugged into a monitor and played just like a standard gaming PC. Now the Steam Deck is going to come in 3 flavors: a 64GB flavor, a 256GB flavor, and a 512GB flavor. But let's break those down a little bit more. Obviously, the big difference between those 3 versions is going to be price, with the 64GB version coming in at £349 or $399, the 256GB version coming in at £459 or $529, and the 512GB version coming in at £569 or $649. Now that's a big range in price and options, but there is one thing to note: the 64GB version comes with eMMC memory, whereas the 256 and 512GB versions come with an SSD. Now that is going to make a big difference to the performance of those consoles. So for me, instantly, the 64GB is the baby of the crew. However, to sweeten the deal for the 512GB version, because £569 or $649 is a lot of money for a portable handheld gaming device. To sweeten the deal for those, that also comes with the anti-glare etched glass screen. But what I like is that Valve have given us options, because they've made it possible for somebody to enter into the world of the Steam Deck even if they don't want to pay that much more than a Nintendo Switch. Yet if you've got all the cash in the world, you can splash out and get the bells and whistles on the 512GB model and get yourself an awesome portable handheld gaming PC. Now in terms of the internal specs, everything else remains the same, and that is absolutely fantastic, because something else about all 3 consoles is that they also support expandable storage through a micro SD card. And what that means is that if you did buy the 64GB version, then you wouldn't just be limited to 64GB, because as we know, PC games can be pretty hungry when it comes to gigabytes, and 64GB is not going to get you very far. But like we said, you can remedy that with a micro SD. You're still not going to get the performance of the SSD that you would get on the other 2 models, but it's definitely something to think about if you want to save some money. Now with the differences between the 3 variants out of the way, let's talk about the similarities between them all, and we'll start looking at the design of it, and then we'll look at the interior as well. Now the first thing I noticed is that of all all the portable handhelds I've ever come across, the Steam Deck reminds me most of the Game Gear, and that's due to its sheer size and chunkiness. The Steam Deck is coming in much bigger than the Nintendo Switch, in the palm of your hands, but the reason behind that is because it comes with a lot more power than the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to need that to be able to run these Steam games, these PC games in the palm of your hand. Although physically to a gamer it might look like a similar kind of beast, internally and what it's trying to do is so different to the Nintendo Switch. Because when it comes to the world of PC games, you can't limit them like you can on a dedicated gaming console. When it comes to PC gaming, a system has to cater for the most high-end down to the most low-end video games created, and games which don't necessarily go through all the same level of quality control as you would get on a console like a Nintendo Switch. Now, although the Steam Deck might look a bit more like a Game Gear than a Nintendo Switch, Valve have assured us that the console has been designed for long gameplay sessions and high fidelity controls. This means that the Steam Deck should feel really comfortable in the palm of your hands and give you all the controls you're going to need to enjoy all the possible video games from the Steam library. However, we can only really know how comfortable the system is and how good the controls are once we get our hands on it. To bolster the claims of high fidelity controls and long gameplay sessions, Valve have put the best in class thumbsticks into the Steam Deck. But on top of that, they've also included something else we don't normally see in portable handheld gaming devices, and that is trackpads. The Steam Deck incorporates 2 trackpads underneath the thumbsticks. Now, instantly, I did have thoughts. Could these trackpads get in the way? Could you accidentally knock them when you're playing along with the thumbsticks? It's hard to say, but already it started giving me ideas of the touchpad behind the PS Vita. Now, you know how much I love the PS Vita, but the touchpad at the back sometimes became a bit of an annoyance when you would accidentally knock it or touch it, and I do feel like these trackpads could get in the way. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that you'll be able to switch off the functionality of those if you don't intend to use them for a certain game, and I'm pretty sure that Steam will have thought about this because they do look very close and they do really look like they could easily get in the way. But once again, like I said, we won't know the details of how this thing feels or works until we get our hands on it. One thing that can be said though is that videos have popped up recently of people play testing with the trackpads, so that'll give us a better inclination and idea of how they'll perform. Now, something that really excites me about the design of the Steam Deck is that it includes analog triggers. That is something we hardly ever see in portable handheld gaming devices, and something that the Nintendo Switch doesn't have. It uses strictly digital triggers, and when it comes to things like racing games, etc., analog triggers are essential. They make such a difference to the gameplay feel. On top of that, the Steam Deck also includes 4 grip buttons, which are available to your fingertips, kind of like you see in some Pro controllers. Now, I've never used these kind of controls before, as I've never used a Pro controller, but from what I've heard, once you use them, they bring a massive benefit to the gameplay sessions, especially in games like first-person shooters or games that require extra controls than a standard handheld controller would give you. It's really nice to see that Valve have really thought about trying to cover all different types of video game experiences you can get in the Steam library. And to round off the design aspects, as you would expect in most handheld gaming devices, the Steam Deck includes gyro controls and the ability to suspend games mid-play session, something that is bread and butter and essential in modern handheld portable gaming devices. Now, when it comes to the technical aspects of the Steam Deck, Valve have you covered as well. The battery life for the Steam Deck will range from between 2 to 8 hours. Now, initially that sounds like quite a range, but when you think about what this machine is trying to achieve, the breadth of games that you can play on it, from indie titles all the way up to AAA, then I think that kind of range of 2 to 8 hours is a lot more understandable. The really important thing to think about is the top end of this number, 8 hours. 8 hours of gaming for a portable handheld gaming PC is pretty impressive. Valve have also stated that the Steam Deck can easily hold 30 Hz, with some games even going up to 60 Hz. Now, yes, as gamers, we all want that 60 Hz, but even the best consoles have to provide that range of between 30 and 60 Hz depending on what settings you're running with. And when it comes to settings, Valve have confirmed that through playtesting, even the most power hungry and graphically intensive AAA games will run at least on medium setting. Again, considering how difficult it can be to run the latest PC games, that is really impressive for a handheld gaming console. And to achieve this, at the heart of the Steam Deck is an AMD Zen 2 microprocessor, an RMDA 2 GPU, and 16 GB of RAM. And that is standard across all 3 iterations of the console: the 64 GB model, the 256 GB model, and the 512 GB model. And that is essential. That provides the consistency that we expect to see in console devices. Because although this is a gaming PC, a lot of people are going to approach it and see it more like a console. And I believe this is the kind of device that transitions the gap between the PC gaming world and the console gaming world as well. The console gaming world where we have expectations of consistency, quality, and dependability, and the PC world where we expect raw power, performance, and a lot more freedom in the styles of games that you can play. Now, in terms of the games that you can play on the Steam Deck, you'll be pretty much covered for almost your whole Steam library. There are some issues, however, with games like Destiny, Apex Legends, and PUBG, where these games will not run on the device yet. Now, I say yet because there is a good chance these issues will be ironed out. Now, you see, the Steam OS is designed for Linux, and the standard Steam library game will run for Windows. But what Valve have created is a proprietary system which enables you to play Windows-based games on Linux. Like I said, this works for almost all of the games in the library. However, with the games that we did mention that don't work, the issues are around security, which is something that Valve are looking at and hopefully should be sorted out. In the meantime, however, you can install any operating system you want on the Steam Deck, including Windows, as well as being able to install games from other stores as well, like the Epic Store and EA's Origin, alongside any other apps and programs you would expect to run on your PC. Now, going off on a bit of a tangent here, the thing that really does excite me about the Steam Deck is the potential to run emulators. If you watch the channel at all, you know I love my retro emulation handheld systems, but there's still some way to go in terms of reaching the gold standard. Some systems attempt to emulate the Dreamcast, and the PS2 and GameCube are a distant dream right now. However, with something as powerful as the Steam Deck, our dreams of emulating PlayStation 2 and GameCube could be within reach. And when you consider that, this could potentially become one of the greatest handheld consoles ever created. Just imagine being able to play your entire Steam library, games from the Epic Store and Origin, as well as being able to emulate all your favorite retro games up until the PlayStation 2 and GameCube generation. That is mind-blowing, and this would be a console that would probably never leave my hands if that was the case. Now, this isn't the first handheld gaming PC that's been created. However, there's a bit of a difference with this one. The refinement and optimization that Valve seem to be bringing into this console is what will set it head and shoulders above the rest if they achieve what they say. Whereas other gaming handheld PCs have been a really nice attempt from the companies that have tried them. The thing about Valve is they could really bring that console quality experience that you need in something like a handheld. And this could really be the crossover device that enables people who are more comfortable in the console gaming world enjoy all the amazing video games available on PC. But one thing stands out the most for me about the announcement of the Steam Deck, and that is the confirmation that handheld gaming right now is as important as it ever has been, if not more important. And it's great to see manufacturers realizing that fact and bringing to the market handheld devices that we can get excited for, and something that confirms that this transition into a new world of gaming, a world where it's so difficult to predict whether everything will go streaming alone or we'll still have physical, whether we'll still have physical hardware in terms of gaming consoles, or whether everything will just turn to mobile devices. It's really nice to see that a company like Valve is willing to take the chance and sees value in still creating physical hardware for video games. And on top of that, it's a handheld device. Now, if you want to get your hands on a Steam Deck, what do you need to do? Well, pre-orders actually opened up shortly after the original announcement. However, the pre-orders that were for the release day have pretty much sold out. You can still go ahead and pre-order the device, but you won't get your device until 2022. It shows me that this is going to be probably a similar situation to the PS5. One thing I will say is do not fall for the scalpers. Let them waste their money on all these consoles that they won't be able to sell. Not because it won't be popular, because I do think this is going to be a really popular device. And in all honesty, with it being such a brand new concept from a pretty new company in terms of hardware, yes, Valve have released hardware in the past in terms of controllers and VR headsets. However, this is pretty new ground for Valve in terms of entering the console market. So if this is a lot of money to you, it might be worthwhile just waiting for a little bit in those early months to see any teething issues, and to also help decide which flavor, which variant is right for you. For me personally, I think I'll be going for the 256GB version. My only problem is, how do I persuade the the wife. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode and content like this, then hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Once again, thank you for watching and see you next time.